Hi everyone, I'm Anna, Cinephile host, and today we'll talk about the classic Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan movie Sleepless in Seattle. This 1993 film is probably the ultimate romantic comedy of the 90s, mostly because it revolves around a very smart trick. The two romantic leads never properly meet until the last moments of the movie. Let's watch Sleepless in Seattle and see what happens when two people are destined for each other. The movie begins in Chicago with Sam and Jonah Baldwin at the funeral of Sam's wife Maggie with the Chicago skyline in the background. Shortly after, Sam discusses with a co-worker the need for a change and decide that he and Jonah are going to move to Seattle, where everything does not remind him of his wife. But even after their move to their new city, they continue to grieve. About 1.5 years later, on the other line, Annie Reed and her boyfriend Walter are heading to her parents' house in separate cars on Christmas Eve, where they announce their engagement.
How amazing! It is, isn't it? You make a million decisions that mean nothing, and then one day you order takeout and it changes your life.
Destiny takes a hand.
Annie leaves the house shortly after Walter and listens to a radio talk show when she hears Jonah calling in to say that his dad needs a new wife. Jonah persuaded a reluctant Sam to go on the air to talk about how much he misses Maggie.
Well, it was a million tiny little things. That when you added them all up, it just meant that we were supposed to be together. And I knew it. And I knew it the very first time I touched her. It's like coming home. Only to know home I'd ever known. I was just taking her hand to help her out of a car.
Hundreds of women from around the country who hear the program and are touched by the story write to Sam. Annie also feels a connection with Sam and Jonah as they talk about Maggie. Under the loose guise of writing a story about the thousands of women who reached out to Sam for a date after hearing his call, Annie begins to investigate his life and try to make a connection of her own. After watching the film An Affair to Remember, Annie writes a letter suggesting that Sam meet her on top of the Empire State Building on Valentine's Day. She decides not to mail it, but her friend and editor, Becky, does it for her and later agrees to send Annie to Seattle.
It's now or never.
Never is a frightening word.
We'd be fools to let happiness pass us by.
Winter must be cold for those with no warm memories. We've already missed the spring.
Yeah. Well, it's probably my last
Men never get this movie.
I know.
Meanwhile, Sam begins dating Victoria, a decorator on one of his remodeling jobs. Jonah really doesn't like Victoria. He reads Annie's letter and likes that it mentions the Baltimore Orioles, but fails to convince his father to go to New York to meet Annie. On the advice of his friend Jessica, Jonah replies to Annie, agreeing to the New York meeting. While dropping Victoria off at the airport for a flight, Sam sees Annie exiting from her plane and is mesmerized by her, although he has no idea who she is. Annie later secretly watches Sam and Jonah playing on the beach together. The next day she goes again to Sam's houseboat, but mistakes Sam's sister for Victoria. He recognizes her from the airport and says hello, but Annie only responds with hello before leaving. She returns to Baltimore and then goes to New York to meet Walter for Valentine's Day. With Jessica's help, Jonah flies to New York and goes to the Empire State Building searching for Annie. When Sam discovers what Jonah did, he grabs a later plane and follows Jonah, where he finds him on the observation deck. Meanwhile, Annie sees the skyscraper from the Rainbow Room where she is dining with Walter and confesses her doubts to him, amicably ending their engagement.
But let's leave that out of this.
I don't want to be someone that you're settling for. I don't want to be someone that anyone settles for. Marriage is hard enough without bringing such low expectations into it, isn't it?
She rushes to the Empire State Building and arrives on the observation deck just moments after the doors to the down elevator close, with Sam and Jonah inside. The observation deck is deserted, but Annie discovers the backpack Jonah left behind. As she pulls out Jonah's teddy bear from the backpack, Sam and Jonah emerge from the elevator, having returned to get it back, and the three finally meet. After Sam and Annie stare at each other in recognition, Sam says they should go and offers his hand to Annie. The three then enter the elevator together and the doors close.
How amazing! It is, isn't it? You make a million decisions that mean nothing, and then one day you order takeout and it changes your life.
Destiny takes a hand.
Well, it was a million tiny little things that when you added them all up, it just meant that we were supposed to be together. That's all. And I knew it. And I knew it the very first time I touched her. It's like coming home.
This is my favorite part.
It's now or never.
Never is a frightening word.
We'd be fools to let happiness pass us by.
Winter must be cold for those with no warm memories. We've already missed the spring.
Yeah. Well, it's probably my last
Men
year.
never get this movie.
I know.
I love you, but let's leave that out of this. I don't want to be someone that you're settling for. I don't want to be someone that anyone settles for. Marriage is hard enough without bringing such low expectations into it, isn't it?
While some romantic comedies end in a kiss, some end in a wedding, and some don't offer any romantic happy ending at all, Sleepless in Seattle is something even more unique. A romantic comedy that ends with its central couple meeting for the very first time. That means that Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks have to sell romance without barely sharing any screen time. Remarkably, they pull it off. Whether you're a cynic or romantic or both, it's hard to resist the enchanting romance of this classic movie. I'm Anna, thanks for watching this episode. You can find more on Funday website. See you next time!